Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got a huge report coming out from the Red Sea to share with you. We're going to talk some more about the Yemen Houthis. I've got this report that a Greek owned shipping company, Delta Tankers, that owns this ship called the Sounion, came under attack in the Red Sea. So this just happened today. It looks like this thing came under attack 3 times. Last we heard, it is on fire and drifting uncontrollably. There is nobody commanding this thing at this time. It is just drifting away in the Red Sea, and there's a high chance it could sink. Now, we don't have any reports indicating as to if it has sunk yet, but considering that it is on fire and that it is uncontrollable, the engines have shut down and everything, this thing could definitely potentially sink in the near term. So we had 25 crew members that were aboard this ship. 2 of them were Russians and 23 of them, I believe, were Filipinos. And there was some video footage coming out online showing from some other ships that were nearby. They were listening in on their radios and they could hear the Mayday calls coming from this ship saying it had been attacked. This ship apparently came under attack 3 times in the Red Sea as it was trying to traverse through there. Came under attack by small arms fire from probably the Yemen Navy. Maybe they were riding around on their boats and shooting at this ship is probably what happened. And then it also came under attack by ballistic missiles or potentially drones. We don't know exactly what it was. All we know was it was 2 projectiles that hit the ship. Apparently after that happened, the ship was able to continue moving on. And then less than an hour later, it got struck again. Okay, so once it got hit this 3rd time, it basically was catastrophic failure to the engine. The engine power had been completely lost, and this thing was basically just drifting and not under command, which was what was being reported by the UKMTO, which is the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about this ship and where it was coming from. Supposedly, this thing was coming from Iraq. Okay, supposedly it filled up in Iraq. It had just got crude oil over there, and it was leaving towards the Indian Ocean and then heading over to the Red Sea. And apparently, it was supposed to be making a stop in Cyprus, which is very strange. And Cyprus is just off the coast of Israel. Okay, so we know that the Yemen Houthis are targeting these ships because if they have any affiliation with Israel, they are targeting them. So apparently they targeted this ship because the Houthis are claiming that this company, Delta Tankers, has been doing trade with Israel recently. So they've apparently tried to target multiples of these ships over the last week or so. This is actually the 3rd strike or 3rd attack on one of these ships that are owned by Delta Tankers. Finally, they had a successful strike on one of them. Okay, so this tanker was supposed to be heading to Cape Town, South Africa. Why would it go through the Red Sea if it's supposed to be going into Cape Town, South Africa, which is the very southernmost tip of Africa? There'd be no need for it to go through the Red Sea. So it makes me wonder that maybe covertly it was actually moving oil from Iraq possibly over to Israel, and maybe this is why they targeted it, because it was supposed to be going to Cape Town, South Africa, but why would it go through the Red Sea if it was just going to Africa? It doesn't make much sense. So let me show you some of the news here, the information that's coming out in regards to this attack. We'll talk about this first, and then I'll show you a couple things on X in regards to this attack. So the Maritime Executive reports, tanker reports fire and drifting in 3rd Houthi strike on Delta Tankers. This just came out today. After failing in 2 previous attempts against Greece's Delta Tankers, the Houthis struck a tanker operated by Delta earlier today in the Red Sea. The situation is still unfolding with a series of at least 4 attacks and reports of a fire and material damage, according to Greece's Ministry of Shipping. The Greek-flagged tanker Sounion departed Iraq on August 12th, and the AIS signal was showing inbound for Cape Town, South Africa. Look at that. The ship was northbound in the Red Sea. Why would it be going through the Red Sea again? I'm not really too familiar with the shipping routes, but it doesn't make sense why they would go through the Red Sea and just not go straight down to Cape Town, South Africa. Okay, I'll kind of show you that on a map here if we can. On its way to Cyprus, when it was approached by 2 small boats, one had 3 to 5 people and the other had at least 10 people. Reports were that the vessel was hailed by the Houthis and that there was an exchange of small arms fire, but that the small boats withdrew to a distance of about 2 nautical miles. The tanker, which was approximately 77 nautical miles west of Hodeidah, Yemen, reported 2 hours later that it had been hit by two projectiles. It was unclear if the attack came from drones or missiles. Delta tankers confirmed the vessel had sustained minor damage, saying that there were no injuries to the 25 crew members aboard. The crew was said to be assessing the situation that the vessel would be able to continue under its own power. Okay, so it got hit by two projectiles, potentially ballistic missiles, maybe, and was still continuing on. Less than an hour later, the vessel was struck again. This time, the master reported the vessel had a fire on board and had lost engine power. According to the UK Maritime Trade Operations, the vessel is drifting and not under command. At this time, it is unclear how significant the damage is to the vessel. UKMTO reports the authorities are investigating. The vessel said that there were still small boats in the area acting suspiciously. Greece's Minister of Shipping and Island Policy, Christos Stylianides, I think is how you say it, called the latest attack a flagrant violation of rules of international law. The Houthis have not yet claimed responsibility, but in the past they said Delta Tankers was being targeted because the company had sent vessels to Israel. On August 9th, the Liberia-flagged tanker Delta Blue reported 4 unsuccessful attacks while it was in the Red Sea. Days later, on August 13th, the Delta Atlantica, another Liberian-flagged crude oil tanker, also reported 4 attacks while it was in the Red Sea. Armed guards aboard were able to detonate a drone boat that was approaching the tanker. Today's attack on the Delta tanker vessel was followed several hours later by another attack on an unidentified vessel in the Gulf of Aden. A ship underway 57 nautical miles south of Aden informed UKMTO there had been 2 explosions in the water. Approximately an hour and a half later, the vessel reported a third nearby explosion. The ship is continuing undamaged to its next port. There overall has been a lull in the Houthi attacks against merchant shipping in July and August. U.S. Central Command, however, continues to issue daily reports citing the number of drones or missiles destroyed. I don't know how to pronounce this right here, but it's EU NAVFOR, I think is how you say it. Speedus today issued a report highlighting that a French destroyer had escorted 2 container ships through the region without incident. So looks like we're starting to see more attacks happening down here in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, but primarily it's happening in the Red Sea right now. And we see majority of these attacks take place off the port of Hodeidah. Okay, this is another big reason why the Israelis bombed the port of Hodeidah, because the port of Hodeidah is known to be used by the Yemen Houthis as a port that where they bring a lot of these weapons and supplies that come in from Iran. When Iran sends in ballistic missile components, drone components, things like that, they typically come through the Hodeidah port in Yemen before the Houthis end up getting control of it. Okay, so that's also why we saw the bombing of the Hodeidah port. But yeah, typically we always see these attacks taking place off the port of Hodeidah. It's very, very common. And we've been seeing this for a very long time now. I haven't really covered very many ships being attacked in quite a while now. I think the last time we covered a ship being attacked was maybe like a month or 2 ago. But it looks like we have another major and successful attack once again. So I've got 2 things I want to show you here on X just for a moment. Okay, so this is from the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations on X, and they put a post here talking about this. It says Incident 110, incident date is August 21st, 2024. Incident time is 0257 hours UTC time. And it says here, UKMTO has received a report of an incident 77 nautical miles west of Al Hodeidah, Yemen. Update 001. The master of a merchant vessel reported at 0257 UTC time that the vessel was approached by 2 small craft. The first craft had 3 to 5 persons on board, while the second had approximately 10. The 2 small craft hailed the merchant vessel, leading to a brief exchange of small arms fire. The distance between the small craft and the merchant vessel subsequently increased to 2 nautical miles. At 0500 UTC, the master reported that the merchant vessel had been struck by 2 unidentified projectiles. Update 002. At 0549 hours UTC time, the master reported a further attack by an unknown projectile. There is a fire on board and the vessel lost engine power. The vessel is drifting and not under command. The master also reports a small craft acting suspiciously in the vicinity Authorities are investigating. Vessels are advised to transit with caution and report any suspicious activity to UKMTO. So this is where the attack approximately took place on this red circle here, just off the coastline of the port of Al Hodeida. Okay, so again, this is where a lot of these attacks take place. This is all the Red Sea right here. Okay, this is just starting to be the entrance of the Red Sea coming from the Gulf of Aden, which would be down here. So I've also got this report here as well from Mek Ozint, and it says the Greek-owned Sounion oil tanker that was attacked in the Red Sea today is owned by Delta Tankers Ltd. And had switched AIS transponders since 5 days. It was loaded with oil in Al Basra, Iraq. Okay, so coming from Iraq, and here we got this map. So take a look at this. Why would, if the ship is over here filling up in Iraq, okay, and why would it, instead of just going down this way towards Cape Town, South Africa, why would it go through here? It doesn't really make any sense. They're saying that supposedly it was heading over to Cyprus, but if it was destined to go from Iraq down to Cape Town, South Africa, why would it not just go straight there? I thought that was very interesting. I also saw some unconfirmed information that this may have been an American-owned ship that was flying recently, or sailing recently under a Greek-owned company. So maybe that's also why this thing came under attack. But again, the Houthis are claiming the reason they're targeting this company, Delta Tankers, to begin with is because they've been doing business with Israel. Okay, so that's the main reason why they targeted this ship. So again, I think it's just very strange. I don't know if maybe it had multiple ports it was supposed to stop at. Maybe it was going to stop at Cyprus and then come back down and head towards Cape Town, South Africa. That's possible. But again, according to that report that I just showed you guys, it was destined to go from Iraq all the way down to Cape Town, South Africa. So again, why would it go through the Red Sea instead of just straight down, the coast of Africa, heading down to the southern tip, which is where Cape Town would be? Okay, so thought that was very strange. So I don't know if that's the U.S. or some other countries trying to mask their identity a little bit to hope to not come under attack by the Houthis. But again, all these Delta tankers, they're being targeted right now. Any ships that are affiliated with this company, considering that supposedly they're doing business with Israel. So I wanted to share this with you. I'm going to cover this story some more if we get more information that comes out. We may hear that this thing is starting to sink, or we don't even know what happened to the crew members on board. Last we knew that this thing is just on fire and sailing uncontrollably. Nobody is commanding it. So hopefully the crewmen are safe aboard this ship, and hopefully they get off of it and they are evacuated out of this ship if it is starting to sink. So just wanted to share this with you because we're starting to see an uptick in attacks here again inside of the Red Sea and also the Gulf of Aden, but primarily the Red Sea is where we see a lot of these attacks taking place. So that's going to be it for today's update. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.